94 years old. Sitting in front of thousands of shareholders. And Warren Buffett says something that stops the room cold. This isn't investing anymore. It's a casino with a church attached to it. Not a stock tip. Not a prediction. A warning. And if you're trading in the Indian markets right now, Nifty, Bank Nifty, weekly options, FNO, this warning was written for you. Stay till the end, because Buffett doesn't just diagnose the problem. He tells you exactly how to protect yourself from it. Let's set the scene. Omaha, Nebraska. The 2026 Berkshire Hathaway Annual Meeting. Greg Abel has officially taken over as CEO, the end of an era 60 years in the making. But even with Abel now running the company, it's Buffett's words from that stage that are still echoing through financial media weeks later. He was asked about the explosion of short-dated options trading contracts that expire in a single day. Zero-day options. The kind where you're not betting on where a company will be in 5 years. You're betting on where a stock will be in 5 hours. Buffett's answer was blunt. He said the market has increasingly become a place where people are gambling in a very extreme way. And that Wall Street, and by extension, every exchange chasing that volume, is happy to profit from it. Now here's why this matters if you're watching from Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, or anywhere in India. This isn't just an American problem. It's our problem too. India has become the single largest options trading market on planet Earth. Not the US. Not Europe. India. Weekly expiries on Nifty and Bank Nifty have turned into a national pastime. Every Tuesday, every Thursday, depending on the index, locks of retail traders are placing bets that have nothing to do with company fundamentals and everything to do with which direction a candle will move in the next 60 minutes. SEBI's own study, the regulator's own numbers, found that over 90% of individual traders in the futures and options segment lost money in a single financial year. Not underperformed. Lost money. Real money. Money that came out of salaries, savings, sometimes loans. This is exactly the behavior Buffett is describing. He's not talking about long-term SIP investors building wealth through equity mutual funds. He's not talking about someone who buys a fundamentally strong business and holds it for a decade. He's talking about the person who checks their trading app 40 times a day. The person for whom the stock market has become indistinguishable from a betting app during IPL season. And Buffett's warning is this: when speculation dressed up as investing becomes the dominant behavior in a market, it doesn't just hurt the individual gambler. It distorts prices, it rewards short-term noise over long-term value, and it pulls an entire generation of retail investors away from the one thing that actually builds wealth: patience. There was another moment from this year's meeting that deserves attention, and it ties directly into this theme of speculation and illusion. During the Q&A session, Berkshire used an AI-generated recreation, effectively a deepfake of Buffett, to help field certain audience questions, a first in the company's history. It was framed as a demonstration, a nod to how far AI has come. But think about the irony here. The man warning us about a market drowning in speculative, ungrounded bets was, in that same event, represented by an AI simulation of himself. Even Buffett, the ultimate symbol of real, fundamental, know what you own investing, is now operating in a world where nothing is quite what it appears to be on the surface. That's not a coincidence. That's the entire theme of 2026. Markets full of noise, technology accelerating faster than our ability to evaluate what's real, and retail investors, especially in India, caught in the middle of it. Let's go back to that phrase, because it's the most important line Buffett said all year. A church with a casino attached to it. Unpack that for a second. The church represents real investing capital allocated to real businesses, compounding patiently over decades. Coca-Cola, Apple, Occidental. The kind of holdings Buffett has built Berkshire's entire fortune on. The casino represents everything else: the options chains, the leveraged bets, the algorithmic high-frequency noise, the prediction markets people are now using to bet on elections, weather, even celebrity gossip. Buffett's point is that both now exist under the same roof. Same exchanges. Same apps. Same tickers. When you open your Zerodha, Grow, or Upstocks app, you're standing at the entrance to both the church and the casino, and the app doesn't clearly tell you which door you're walking through. That's dangerous. Because the psychological rush of the casino, the dopamine hit of a green candle, the just one more trade feeling pulls people away from the slow, boring, compounding discipline of the church. And boring, historically, is what actually makes people wealthy. So what's the actual takeaway? Buffett didn't just criticize, he spent 60 years showing the alternative. First, know the difference between investing and gambling. If you can't explain why you own something beyond the chart looks good, you're not investing. Second, ignore the short-dated noise entirely. Weekly options, daily expiries. Buffett would tell you this is entertainment, not wealth building. If you want entertainment, at least know that's what it is and size your bets accordingly. Third, for the Indian investor specifically, your SIP is your church. A disciplined monthly SIP into a quality index fund or well-researched equity, held for 10, 15, 20 years, is the single most reliable path retail investors have. It's unglamorous. It won't make you a Zerota leaderboard screenshot. But it's the door Buffett has been walking through his entire life. Fourth, read the SEBI data and take it seriously. When your own market regulator tells you that the vast majority of options traders lose money, that's not fearmongering. That's a fact you should treat the way you treat a doctor's warning. Warren Buffett is 94. This may be one of the last times the world hears him speak this directly on a stage. And of everything he could have talked about: succession, Berkshire's cash pile, Greg Abel's future, he chose to spend real time warning people about gambling disguised as investing. That's not an accident. That's a man who has watched market cycles for 70 years, seeing the same pattern repeat: euphoria, speculation, collapse, regret. If you're trading FNO every week hoping for a jackpot, ask yourself honestly, are you in the church, or are you in the casino attached to it? Buffett spent his whole life proving which door leads to real wealth. The choice, as always, is yours. If this video gave you a moment of clarity, hit subscribe. We break down Buffett and Munger's wisdom every week, specifically for Indian investors navigating today's markets. And drop a comment, church or casino? Let's talk about it below.